You remember every single detail of that argument. The exact words he used, the venom in his tone, the way the door slammed so hard the walls rattled. But when you bring it up later, he just looks at you with this calm, almost pitying confusion and says, "That never happened." In that one instant, the trap closes, not around your body, but around your mind. This is where gaslighting begins. It doesn't start with obvious, theatrical lies. It starts with these quiet, subtle denials that are designed to fracture your trust in your own memory. Gaslighting isn't just an accidental miscommunication. It's an intentional, strategic form of psychological manipulation. It always starts small. You'll hear things like, "I didn't say it like that," or "You're remembering it wrong," or the classic, "You're just too sensitive." These statements are carefully crafted to sound reasonable, all while corroding the foundation of your own certainty. Over time, every memory you have starts to feel questionable. Every emotion you feel starts to feel like evidence against you. Your mind, which was once your most reliable ally, suddenly becomes the battlefield. The term itself comes from the 1944 film Gaslight, where a husband systematically dims the gas-powered lights in their home and then denies it's happening, slowly convincing his wife she's losing her sanity. Modern manipulators, whether they're a narcissistic partner, an abusive parent, or a toxic coworker, use the exact same strategy. The setting may have changed, but the damage has not. Let's break down the stages. Stage 1 is subtle disbelief. They begin by questioning harmless details that you know are true. They don't do it aggressively. It's casual. "Are you sure about that?" "That's not how I remember it." The goal isn't to win the argument. The goal is to plant a seed of doubt. Soon enough, you find yourself replaying conversations in your head, wondering if maybe you did mishear or misunderstand or misremember. Then comes stage 2, the counterattack. When the facts are no longer on their side, they attack you personally. Suddenly, you're not discussing what happened anymore. Instead, you're being called dramatic, unstable, paranoid, or told you're always overreacting. Do you see the shift? The conversation is no longer about the event. It's about what's supposedly wrong with you. Defending yourself at this point just looks like proof of your instability. Next is stage 3, trivialization. Your pain is systematically minimized. They'll say things like, "It's not that serious," or "Why are you making such a big deal out of nothing?" You start to learn that expressing your hurt only leads to more conflict, so you begin to swallow your emotions just to keep the peace. Your silence becomes a survival tactic. This often leads to social manipulation. The gaslighter will casually express concern about your mental state to your friends, your family, even your coworkers. Suddenly, your reality isn't just being questioned by them, it's being echoed back at you by the people you trust. The isolation tightens its grip. The doubt deepens. After that comes stage 4, withholding. They'll refuse to have conversations with you, using the excuse that you're too emotional or impossible to talk to. In public, they'll act completely normal, loving, and attentive. But in private, they become distant and cold. You're left standing in this confusing fog, wondering how something that feels so intensely real to you can be completely invisible to everyone else. The final stage is annihilation. By this point, you're apologizing for things you didn't even do. You second-guess your own achievements. You find yourself relying on them to clarify what really happened in any given situation. Your sense of reality is no longer your own, it belongs to them. Their control is absolute. So why does gaslighting work so well? It preys on a psychological principle called cognitive dissonance. Your brain hates contradiction. When your own memory of an event clashes with their unwavering certainty that it never happened, your mind scrambles to find relief. And often, the easiest way to find that relief is to accept their version of reality. Each time you surrender, you get a small dose of psychological comfort, which only reinforces the manipulative loop. Gaslighters are experts at studying your vulnerabilities. If you've ever admitted to struggling with anxiety, every one of your reactions becomes just your anxiety acting up. If you've shared a past trauma, every boundary you try to set becomes your emotional baggage. Your intimacy becomes their ammunition. In romantic relationships, escaping this is incredibly difficult. Leaving means admitting that years of your life might have been built on a foundation of distortion, and that realization alone can be terrifying. In the workplace, gaslighting looks different but is just as damaging. It's stolen credit for your work, denied promises of a promotion, or rewritten accounts of what was decided in a meeting. And in families, it cuts the deepest. Parents rewriting your childhood history, siblings denying shared abuse, walking away from that can feel like an ultimate betrayal. But here's the turning point, the one thing a gaslighter can't fully control. They slip up. There might be a text message they forgot to delete, a screenshot you saved, a witness who was there, a single moment of undeniable proof. That one piece of confirmation can create psychological whiplash. Suddenly, your memory stands solid again and their entire illusion cracks. You finally see the predator hiding behind that calm, rational mask. Recovery isn't quick, but it is absolutely possible. It starts with creating distance or enforcing strict no-contact boundaries. It involves journaling every incident to rebuild trust in your own perception. It often requires therapy to help rewire the trauma responses that have been ingrained in you. And most importantly, it means surrounding yourself with people who affirm your reality, not distort it. When you finally stop seeking their approval, the manipulator will panic. You can expect rage, smear campaigns, and attempts to hoover you back in. But without your self-doubt to fuel them, their power collapses. Gaslighting survives in isolation. It dies in awareness. If you have ever walked away from a conversation thinking, "Am I crazy?" I want you to understand this. Your memory wasn't faulty. Your emotions weren't excessive. You weren't confused. You were targeted. The red flags become so obvious in hindsight. The consistent denial of facts, the character attacks whenever you question them, the alliances they form against you, your own growing self-doubt, and their unwavering confidence in the face of obvious lies. Healthy people clarify misunderstandings. Manipulators rewrite history to maintain control. You deserve a reality where your experiences are respected. Your emotions are valid, and your truth doesn't need anyone else's permission to exist. For cinematic deep dives into gaslighting traps, dark psychology tactics, and the patterns of manipulation, subscribe to Dark Mind Mastery Psychology now. This channel delivers gripping storytelling, breakdowns of psychological red flags, and strategies to protect your mind. We'll help you spot gaslighting, silent treatment cycles, love-bombing illusions, and hidden control mechanisms before they can steal your confidence. Because recognizing dark psychology is the first step to mastering it, and reclaiming your reality starts today. Thanks for watching.